Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Breakeven Diaries Season 3, powered by the Entrepreneurship Cell of SIMSREE, with me, your host, Cindy Racel Rodrigues. India's podcasting ecosystem has seen a massive growth of over 50 million from 2019. 50 million podcast listeners loyal to quality content from various languages. This has led to a rising interest in the industry from companies and individuals alike. Witnessing such a great year-on-year growth, podcasts are inarguably the fastest growing, relatively inexpensive, and extremely effective medium of entertainment and advertising due to their ability to hold conversations and craft great stories. Today, I have with me a very passionate storyteller, the co-founder and CEO of Idea Brew Studios, one of India's fastest growing full stack podcast companies with a reach of over 2.5 million each month and ranking among the top 3 Indian podcast companies. So everybody put your hands together for Mr. Aditya Kuber.
Hi, Cindy. Thanks so much for having me. Pleasure to be with all of you.
So we are very honored to have you here, and congratulations on completing more than 100 podcast shows.
Thanks so much.
Would you like to tell our audience something about Idea Brew Studios?
Absolutely. Idea Brew Studios was born at the peak of the pandemic at around August 2020. 3 of us set out to be a part of the whole podcasting revolution. We have since started managing a host of shows. We manage about 150 now, in fact. And these shows range from entertainment to information to sports, news, and we work with some of the best known brands as well from across the world. So we're a small team, we're still growing, but we're very excited about the future of podcasting in India.
Awesome. So what was the inspiration behind founding this?
Podcasting has actually been around for a very long time, almost 20 years, but it never became mainstream until about 7 or 8 years ago. And about 5 years ago in India, small green shoots started appearing that there are enough storytellers in India. India is actually a collection of so many languages, cultures, backgrounds that storytelling comes to us very naturally. And podcasting is probably the easiest way to take stories to a lot of our listeners. And that was our inspiration. How do we bring more stories to listeners? With the growth of digital, with the growth of mobile phones and access, it's just become very natural. So for us, the inspiration always remained that if more people are available to listen to our stories, let's bring them some of the best stories from across India.
Absolutely true. We know that every startup is a roller coaster ride. So could you tell us what were some of the challenges you faced and how did you conquer them?
So one of the biggest challenges we're still facing remains COVID. Over the last 18 months that we have been in business has thrown up a lot of challenges. There aren't enough brands, there isn't enough business opportunities, what a lot of people say. But if you stay true to your path that this is what we want to do, we wanted to tell great stories. There were a lot of storytellers who needed to be brought together. The way we figured we should do that is actually solve one problem at a time. The first problem to solve was how do you bring together some of the best storytellers, give them a great platform. And this is solved through a very strong distribution network that we have now built, which means that if you're a podcaster and if you're a part of our network, your content will be available to everyone anywhere they are sitting. So that was one of the biggest problems to solve. The other problem obviously remains on the side of the revenue, where brands are still taking a little time to start spending like they were pre-COVID. But over the last 4 or 5 months, we've started seeing that more and more brands are willing to experiment with the new medium, have more budgets. We've all seen how the economy has rebounded. So the biggest challenge to overcome was sustenance and staying true to the path that we had chosen. And to that end, a lot of our creators deserve credit that they didn't give up hope during this difficult period. They stayed true that we will continue to create great content, and they were committed to making sure that they don't stop doing what they're good at.
True, very inspiring. Being customer centric, keeping customers in mind while creating content and anything actually is a really must have for any business nowadays. So do you follow a certain process when you're curating podcast content?
So one of the major filters that we have when we curate content is this unique? Is there a unique voice? And yes, a lot of stories are told by the same set of people, or a lot of similar stories are being told by many people. But how is the format? How are they telling it slightly differently? Are they going to help reach a newer audience? So very different sort of filters appear for different parameters. We also look at a slightly longer term picture. So some shows or some creators might immediately not see success, but is there something worth investing in that maybe a while later is going to pay off? So we're also willing to take a longer view of some of our creators, and that we have seen has always helped out.
Wow, that is really awesome, because Idea Brew Studios is a company that's actually, catering not only to the audience, but to the creators as well. So that's really a huge plus, and all the creators would be really happy to be on your podcast platform. So in general, now podcasts are very personal. As you said, you have private separate filters and all based on the content. So the ultimate aim is to offer an intimate experience. And that's also one of the core concepts of any brand for their customer engagement. So what are your views on the new adcast, advertisement and podcasting market in India?
It's a great opportunity for brands to get intimate with their listeners. Usually, when you say advertising, everyone visualizes a television ad or a large print ad. But here, when a brand is woven into a story, you're actually going to see faster retention of brand recall. You're going to see faster conversion. And this has actually been proven over the last few years through podcast advertising. It's a fact that almost 60% of podcast listeners react positively to a brand in their content. Over 50% of podcast listeners have greater recall of a brand that they've heard as a part of their podcast. So these are all metrics that have been validated over the last many years. As a result, we presently work with brands like Asian Paints. We work with some other national brands as well, like SBI Mutual Fund, and all of these brands are taking to podcasting because of the same reasons. They're able to reach their listener, their audience at a one-on-one level, and they see higher retention and recall.
Wow, that's really enlightening. I mean, creating a story, and that's how you establish a connect with the brand. Now it's going to be time for our rapid fire round called Footloose, where we are going to be asking you questions based on your story, and I'm sure our audience will feel really specially connected to this segment. Aditya, are you ready?
Let's go.
Yes, let's start. So we are here with question number 1. Give me 2 words you would use to describe yourself.
Fun and foodie.
Great. What is your best achievement till date?
Staying the course of this business during COVID.
Awesome. According to you, what are the 3 qualities an entrepreneur should possess?
Persistence, clarity of vision, and a little bit of courage.
Which is your favorite sport?
Tennis.
Okay. What kind of books do you like to read?
Oh, I love to read murder mysteries, and I especially enjoy biographies. I know the two are not really connected, but one is for pure entertainment and the other is for learning and inspiration.
Wow. Okay, so since I know you are from Pune, name your favorite Puneri dish.
Well, that's a tough one, but I'll have to go with... that's a tough one. Okay, there's too much of choice here. Let's go with the obvious of misal pav.
Yeah, I think this was the toughest question for you because you're a foodie.
Yeah, that's right. But one dish is not fair.
Absolutely. I absolutely relate to that. Which is your all-time favorite movie and why?
Movie. Okay, that's also a difficult one. But the one movie I think I'll watch again and again is actually any James Bond film.
And why?
Because you can start it anywhere. It's pure entertainment. You know that it's absolutely not true, but it's just made in the way that you can just enjoy the storytelling.
Okay, so these are your criteria for content: anytime listening and entertainment guaranteed.
Very important.
I believe you like photography also. So let me ask you one moment that you would like to capture, your dream moment.
Oh, I would have loved to have been there to capture Rafa Nadal win his 21st Grand Slam and be the photographer who took that early moment.
Cool. And that was the last question of our rapid fire round, Footloose. And I hope that was fun.
Absolutely.
So, yes?
Absolutely. Good fun.
So as we near the end of this episode, what message would you like to give our budding entrepreneurs and all the viewers who are watching this?
If you're an entrepreneur, please remember that success doesn't come overnight. Or in fact, another interesting saying that I've learned to live by is overnight success takes a lot of time. So you will be successful. You just need to stay the course. It takes time. It takes a lot of hard work. There is a lot of hard burn involved, but just stay true to your course. You have conviction and you will succeed.
Awesome. Thank you so much for gracing our episode. I've had a great time, really splendid, and I'm sure our viewers enjoyed it as well. So this is me, Cindy, signing off. See you soon with a brand new episode of the Breakeven Diaries Season 3.